Well, hello and welcome back. My name is MaryAnn Walker, and I'm the life coach for empaths and highly sensitive people. And I know that we talk a lot about the importance of boundary setting, but how does this apply to empaths? When we don't understand how empath energy works, we can become overwhelmed and drained. So, today we're going to talk about what empath energy can look like and feel like, and how to better manage it in such a way that doesn't leave you feeling completely drained. Empath energy is very expansive. It's a lot larger than other people's energies. So while some people have a very close-knit aura, an empath aura is going to be very far-reaching. It's almost like little fingers reaching out, trying to just kind of keep tabs on everybody in your circle or even everybody in your close proximity. And we do this subconsciously, which is why it can leave you feeling really drained at the end of the day because you don't know how hard your energy has been working, especially if you've been around a lot of emotionally charged people. Your energy is essentially always in check-in mode. It's checking in to make sure that everybody else is okay in an effort to gauge your own personal safety. In fact, many empaths were not born empaths, but they developed that gift of being an empath over time as a form of self-preservation. So the belief that many empaths have is that, well, if I can make sure that everybody around me is doing okay, then I will feel safe too. It's your empathic nature at work, and it is a true gift. However, when this constant outreach of energy it goes unchecked, then it can leave you feeling depleted and burned out. Now I want to address the conscious and the subconscious outreach because both things are happening. And the more conscious we can become about our outreach, the more energy we will have throughout the day. The subconscious outreach is tapping into everybody's energy around you to assess your own personal safety. And again, this might be people in your close proximity that you're worried about something happening. And so you're checking in with everybody else to make sure that everybody else is doing okay emotionally. It might be somebody that's even further away, someone that's really been weighing on your mind. And your energy has the capacity to reach in and check in with them even at a vast distance. You might also be subconsciously carrying the weight of another person, thinking that it will help. Your energy assumes the role of the emotional processor and the caretaker. And so it kind of is going around not just checking in on everybody, but saying, oh, let me hold that for you. Let me hold that for you. Let me hold that for you. So then at the end of the day, you're just feeling worn out. So yes, you might be subconsciously carrying the weight of another person, thinking that it will help. Most often, this looks like worry or rumination. But as we know, and as you've probably heard people talking about, worrying is kind of like sitting in a rocking chair and rocking back and forth. It can feel really productive, but it doesn't get us anywhere. And it doesn't get other people anywhere because when we're choosing to carry it for them, they are not learning what it is that they need to learn in order to learn how to process that on their own. It's actually robbing them of that experience. So it can feel really productive to be ruminating and worrying over something, but it really doesn't get us anywhere. When we bring that empathy and that compassion into our conscious mind, that's when we can more intentionally choose who it is that we want to help and support and choose more consciously how it is that we want to invest our energy. And more often than not, consciously choosing who we are and are not going to help out and how much energy we're going to invest, it will actually result in you spending less time and less energy on processing other people's stuff, not more. And that means ultimately you will have more energy for yourself. Compassion is empathy in action, which is a beautiful thing and significantly more productive than just hanging out in that rumination rocking chair day after day, right? Additionally, when it's on the more conscious level, then we're more likely to know when it is that we are done, which can bring a sense of completion and satisfaction that, okay, I did the thing, I've done the work, and now I can rest. When we are carrying the emotions subconsciously, it leaves us feeling drained for a few reasons. First, we aren't consciously choosing into these emotions, which result in us carrying even more because we don't really have any emotional boundaries in place. We haven't chosen into this. We're just kind of essentially picking up little things along the way, and then soon our backpack is really heavy, right? So just imagine going for a walk, and at every single house you pick up a rock. At the end of that walk, you're going to feel very tired. And it might seem like a little thing here and there, but it adds up over time. And at the end of the day, you're just going to be really tired. Also, significantly more energy can be placed into resisting other people's emotions when we're not consciously choosing it, right? So we might just notice, "Oh, okay, I don't wanna be feeling that. I don't wanna be feeling that." Okay, this is resistance, it's not a boundary, okay? Resistance is, "No, no, 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 I'm not gonna feel that." A boundary is, "I'm going to allow myself to feel this. This is what I'm going to consciously choose into instead," and that's what we're really going to be talking about today. When these empathetic check-ins aren't consciously managed, then they can cause you to feel drained as your energy is constantly extended without you even realizing it. But on the other side, becoming more conscious, it minimizes this burnout. So let's talk about some ways to limit draining your own energy. And the first step here is managing your empath energy by setting an intention. So before you leave the house, before you enter into that conversation or that party or that get together, set an intention to help you to maintain your energetic boundaries. This very simple act, it can help you to protect your energy throughout the day. So, for example, you might say to yourself, okay, when I go to this birthday party, I am going to be showing up for the guest of honor. I will pleasantly engage with everybody, but my intention is to focus my energy on only the guest of honor. Okay. Setting your focus is going to be setting your boundaries because now you're not going to get sucked in as much to everybody else. You have decided your intention and you have declared whose energy it is that you want to be focused on. Maybe before going into a deep conversation with a friend or a loved one, then you might say to yourself, okay, my intention is to hold space and listen with empathy, but I will not take on their emotions as my own. I can care without carrying. Maybe before attending a family gathering, you say to yourself, okay, my intention is to stay grounded in my truth. I will respond rather than react, and I will give myself permission to step away and take breaks as needed if I start to feel overwhelmed. Before heading into a work or a team meeting, you might say, okay, my intention is to stay centered in my own energy. I will be kind and professional, but I am not responsible for fixing the energy or emotions of other people in the room. Before scrolling on social media, you might tell yourself, my intention is to engage with content that feels inspiring and aligned with who I am and who I want to become. I will scroll consciously and log off the moment that I feel comparison, overwhelm, or emotional fatigue creeping in. Before interacting with the child, a partner, or a client who is emotionally upset, you might say, okay, my intention is to be calm, steady, and present. I will not try to solve or to soothe everything, but I will trust that their emotions are valid and that they are capable of processing them with support, not rescue. Okay, that's another big thing. Recognize when you're slipping into rescue mode rather than support mode. Self-care is key. As we talked about last week, taking care of yourself, it isn't just a luxury, it is a necessity. The more you focus on self-care, the less likely you are to absorb the emotional weight of others. And if you missed last week's episode, I shared 10 self-care tips specifically for you, the empaths and the highly sensitive people. So check that out if you would like more guidance around this. There's a link in the show notes, but it's just the one right before this, so go and have a listen. Okay, now I want to talk to you a bit about maintaining your energy and keeping those boundaries around other people's energy as well. As an empath, your energy, it often wants to wander off to the people that you love. Every time you find your mind wandering to somebody else, that is your energy checking in on them. Okay. You're going to be checking in with your partner, your children, your friends, and you might find yourself thinking about them or feeling their pain, sometimes to the point of exhaustion. So, this is your energy reaching out to them, and it's a beautiful thing to reach out to them. And I highly encourage you to be mindful of your own energy and set boundaries around that. What I mean by this is, if you are not intentional about it, then you might find yourself losing sleep over them. And then you're not only emotionally drained, but you're physically drained, which makes it a lot harder to process what it is that's going on. So let me share a few examples of how to honor your own levels of empathy and compassion while also setting energetic boundaries so that you can continue to show up in that love and support. And notice that as I share these, that the common denominator is being conscious about it. It's not staying up all night thinking about it, but consciously choosing how to honor your empathy and compassion and the experiences of others. For some people, it's honestly as simple as dedicating one prayer per day to that friend or family member or whoever it is that you're concerned about. Prayers have a more formal ending, and that kind of gives you a little bit of energetic closure so that you can go on with your day. So, prayer is a great thing to do. One of my Lebanese clients decided to take time to prepare a Lebanese dish as a healing practice. And so as he cooked, he would allow himself to feel and process while sending the Lebanese people loving kindness. And once the preparations were done, then he used this as his cue to move on to something else for a little while to minimize his own personal burnout. Another client decided to send loving kindness to an estranged family member for 20 minutes a day. And before this practice, then her grief was very overwhelming for her. But now she knew that she could dedicate space to both love and grief, intentionally connecting in with that loved one's energy. And then once her timer went off, then she would be done and she would be better able to function for the rest of her day because she knew she had that evidence now by dedicating space to it that, okay, I'm not ignoring my pain, but instead I am treating it as something sacred. I am dedicating sacred space to fully processing both my grief as well as my love for this individual. A third client of mine was deeply affected by the suffering of her best friend who was going through a divorce. And she found herself constantly checking in, mentally, emotionally, all of it. She was worrying a lot and emotionally bracing herself for every single update, often to the point of exhaustion. So, what resonated with her was we created a ritual where each morning she would light a candle. And as the candle was lit, she would send a short note of love, strength, or encouragement to this friend. And this became her intentional time to energetically connect in with her friend and send that love and kindness to that friend and that level of support. And after that message was sent, then she would blow out the candle. And that was her signal that, okay, I have shown up in love. Now I return to myself. This daily boundary allowed her to hold space for her friend without being consumed, honoring both the love that she had for her friend and her need for personal peace. She also communicated to her friend that, okay, hey, I want to check in with you now, and I'm going to check in with you at the end of the workday to see how you're doing. And this helped her to put boundaries in place so that she could work rather than just having to always have her phone at the ready and answer every single text. Okay. So she was setting not only those energetic boundaries and that dedicated space, but also stating some verbal boundaries that I will check in with you before I go to work and when I get home from work, and had those boundaries in place. So, in summary, the more you bring your conscious empathic tendencies into your conscious awareness, the better you can manage your energy. Bringing it into your conscious awareness is setting energetic boundaries. Understanding your natural gifts allows you to set boundaries and protect yourself from emotional depletion. Your empathic energy is a gift. But like any gift, it requires care and boundaries to be used wisely. And when you learn how to manage it, then you can show up for others without sacrificing yourself. If you are ready to learn more about how to protect your energy and harness the power of your empathic gifts, I would love to work with you. My 6-week coaching packages are designed specifically to help empaths like you to create a balanced, sustainable approach to supporting others without burning out. So check out the link in the show notes or come to my website, MaryAnnWalker.life, to get started. I would love to work with you. And also, as a side note, make sure that you're subscribed here to the podcast. If this was helpful for you, if you want to learn more, make sure that you are subscribed. And also, I would really love some reviews. It helps me to reach more people. It gives me a little boost in the algorithms so that I can find more people like you and offer them this help and support as well. So again, I would really appreciate your leaving a review. All right. Well, I hope you have a great week and let's talk soon. Bye now.